we got a couple of uplifting Thanksgiving treats for you tonight.
Oh, yes.
Actually, we're well past Thanksgiving. It's just Queen and Slim came out last weekend. I didn't have time to see all movies last weekend. But even on the poster for that movie, it was, given the subject matter of the film, below the poster, it still said, like, this Thanksgiving, Queen and Slim. You didn't go see this one, though, so unless you went to go see it last weekend.
No, I didn't.
You went to go see Frozen 2 again?
I did.
You're like, it was better the second time.
No, I'm kidding. I was gonna offer to take my nieces to go see it, but their mom was like, "Oh no, we're seeing it Saturday." I'm like, "All right."
Oh no,
I'll
we're seeing Queen and Slim. All right. So we did a Patreon contest last weekend for people to submit their own Gene Shalit style reviews of Frozen 2, and they win the funniest one, and the funniest and most well-liked one gets like an autographed Frozen 2 bucket and cup with a little snow globe on it, and a copy of Disco, the best part of Frozen 2. So I want to thank the winner at the very top of this, and we're going to start doing a lot more of these as well, these little giveaways with these different limited edition things that we get in theaters. I've got a Cats one at home that we'll do on an upcoming one, but I'll go ahead and read you the winning. Someone in the comments will put review starts here, and by that I hope they mean the Gene Shalit review starts here. So I'll go ahead and read you this pun-tastic review of this is the winner.
And you got to do it in your best Gene Shalit impression.
Yeah.
Okay,
like
here
I
we
did
go.
in the Cinema Snob movie. Okay, this is Shannon. This is Shannon's review of Frozen 2. You'll have no problem enjoying Frozen 2. Disney's been keeping this sequel on ice for more than half a decade. While some thought Disney would be skating on thin ice at the box office, this smash hit proves to be adding millions to their slush fund. Elsa's new songs are both beautiful and chilling.
Wait, when did Gene Shalit turn into Gilbert Godfrey?
If I want to go the full Godfrey, I'll throw out my voice. I cycle through the playlist every day. The plot is unbelievably fun. There's snow drifting off during the action scenes, and Olaf's witty humor is the igloo holding it all together. It's a joy to see the sisters no longer ice-plated. Don't flake out on seeing this one. So that's Shannon.
God damn you, Shannon.
We'll contact you on DM over on Patreon. So contribute to our Patreon to take part in, so you can see early videos, take part in contests, and to see early reviews like this one, which will be on Patreon first before it ends up going live. So,
and by the way, I'm just kidding. That was a good review. God, the puns.
It's great. I love it. I love the Gene Shalit puns. I should do the same thing with Queen and Slim. Like, okay, snap into this Queen and Slim, Jim. Like, give me some time. I can come up with stuff. So this is a very it's kind of sold as if it's sort of this Bonnie and Clyde type film, where the movie opens pretty strong, where it's just these two young people
on a Tinder date.
Yeah, they're on a Tinder date that is like not going great, like not going terribly, but. Do you know those dates where it's like, it's not that it's the worst date in the world, but you're probably still not going to see this person again?
Right.
It's kind of one of those.
I have many of those here.
I've had plenty in my past, too. Like,
no.
Oh, you just
I'm
this year.
currently having them.
Oh. I
Brad,
don't.
This was great and all, but I gotta get going.
I'm just not reviewing any more movies after this. I don't really have those kind of dates anymore. Now it's just like,
well, I hope
me and Laura on our like awkward weekend dinners together. We just sit silently eating our food. How was your day?
Oh, it was great.
Oh,
How was yours?
It's talking to me again. You said that out loud, honey. I know.
Wait,
so it's
which is which?
Laura's definitely the one who refers to me as it.
Okay.
If anyone else calls her Beast, I'll rip their legs out. So it's just sort of one of those dates where they're probably not going to see each other again.
Right.
They're pulled over. The cop, who's instantly a psychopath, pulls the gun out on him. She takes one in the leg. A scuffle happens in self-defense. This is before the opening credits. It's a well-edited movie, especially when it goes into it opens with this date, this happening, them deciding to just drive off and make a run for it. And it is a good-looking film. Like, whole sequence, even the way that it's shot, it almost has a very, 1970s era feel to how it's edited, how certain voiceovers are, what they're doing with a lot of the color schemes of it. Shooting in a lot of dusks, a lot of dawns, even some of what they do with the soundtrack, even the advertising for it, like kind of a modern Thomasine and Bushrod sort of. And at the beginning of it, it's easy to feel for these characters in this situation, especially because it's also a well-acted movie. The two leads are incredibly strong. The supporting characters that they come across through it are fun and entertaining and have good lines throughout it. And if there is one thing that does a good job of carrying it, it's certainly how the movie looks. It's how it's directed, how it's acted. It is very gritty. And it's not afraid to look and feel very gritty as it's going along. Man, I didn't like this movie.
Wait, what? Really?
No, I didn't.
I'm
starting out strong here. I'm starting out strong here to say that on a technical level, the movie looks good. On an acting level, it does. The story's not even bad. And
the Oscar for Best Movie Review goes to Brad Jones. Woo, Brad!
I wasn't even trying to fake you out this time.
You had me.
Really? I wasn't even trying to fake you out. Heavy-Handed doesn't even cover this movie. It really doesn't. It's Bonnie and Clyde gets brought up a lot in this movie, really, but it's less that and kind of more Thelma and Louise. Only with that dealing a lot with sex. This one's certainly about race. Both are kind of comparable to each other in a little bit. This is a very pretentious movie because it's a movie that's edited so well, acted so well. Visually, the cinematography looks great. To fool you into how not great the script of this movie is, because it's frustrating. Because at first, you're put into this situation and you're like, man, yeah, I'd feel for anyone who's in this rock hard situation like this. But you look at Thelma and Louise, which is from beginning to end, in the context that the characters are given and the information that characters have in it, you're following along with the choices that the characters are making in a movie like Thelma and Louise. I understand how this gets here, how this character is thinking this, I'm along for the journey here on this ride, and I understand choices that are being made here. This is one of those movies where it's bad decision after bad decision after bad decision repeatedly. To the point to where there's it's at first I kind of like that.
You're kind of out of frame.
Oh, sorry. I thought I dreaded the worst. I thought you were gonna be like, this isn't even turned on. Let me see how long I can get him to rant before I break the news to him. Do I tell him now? So many bad decisions are made in this movie that it starts to get frustrating. That mixed in with at first, I like the fact that this happened when they were on a bad first date and now they're stuck with each other. But it reaches a point where I'm sort of stop your bickering about,
each other?
Yeah, and it even reached a point to where I'm I don't even know why you don't go on your separate ways at this point. And one character in particular, I'm like, I don't even understand some of the bad decisions that are being made here, because she's a lawyer. She's a lawyer in this film, which would be like if you're watching Bonnie and Clyde and it started out with Bonnie as the mayor. Like, so,
right, yeah.
So, when you see what happens,
I think that she would like have more of a grasp on the law, and
no, what she acts as his like bad angel throughout like half of this movie.
Really?
Yeah, she'll be like cool about some things and then get like really mad that they have to change their appearances. Like, certain things are petty and certain things aren't, and there's so many times where like they should be listening to the radio for the news, and she'll flip it off. And there's a lot of stuff like that in this movie. But so this is a hard movie to review. So this is caught on the dash cam, which clearly shows what happened in this situation.
Okay.
And I know, you know, and I know that, like, well, okay, a defense on a criticism like that could be, well, you know, maybe that wouldn't matter. People would still be out for these two's blood and everything. But it shows exactly what happened in this situation. like it's there on YouTube, on the news and everything. Like, what happened in this scuffle with this cop. And it even ends in a similar situation to where I'm like, there is so much that's caught on camera.
So there's really no point for them to run.
Well, I mean, you could certainly argue that there will still be people who will shoot them on sight, considering what happened.
Yeah.
But it's pretty clear what did. So, but again, I know the point the movie's trying to make. I do, because it spoon feeds it to you.
So wait a second. So there's irrefutable evidence of the scuffle, and she's a lawyer, and they're still running.
I know I'm gonna have people yelling at me about this, but just some tweaks on the script. You could have hit home what you're trying to do here. I mean, this is but subtlety is the furthest thing on this movie's mind. Really? There is a sex scene in this movie that's
okay. First of all, if it's between the two of them, after what you've just described as their chemistry, how do they even like find each other desirable?
Yeah, well, I get that. I do. Because I do like the actors together in this movie, and when it gets to that point, I'm sort of like, yeah, I see how this happened, and I'm like, think about it, this is one of the weirdest romances I've seen this month. So, but when this sex scene is happening, it's pretty graphic. Like, it is. It's like really, really graphic. Like, they're fucking going for it, man. Seriously. But it's spliced in with this protest going on, with these protesters facing off against the police. Someone's shot in the face during this. Like, people are getting gassed. Yeah. Oh, might as well be. It almost gets that graphic. So you have it's weird, like, because this sex scene is graphic and spliced in with all this other stuff, which makes for a confusing erection, because it'd be like if it's 25 years ago and you keep sitting on the remote back and forth between Skinamax and the LA riots. Like, and in this riot that happens I'm not going to spoil it, but it removed all traces of any kind of subtlety from this movie. Like, if the banging wasn't enough, one thing that happens in this scene, it's like, movie, like, you're really, really losing me in what should feel like a very topical political film. There's parts where it just goes into fantasy, and the ending of this movie makes as much sense as the ending to 21 Bridges. Like, Yeah, again, featuring something that would be on that they're showing would be on like every single news channel. I know it's not that I don't understand the themes that they're trying to do here and the kind of story they're telling, the movie that they're trying to make here. But it just needed some better writing.
I guess so. I mean,
but I'm in a small boat on this because this is a very well-reviewed movie.
oh,
And I
wow.
was watching it going, it's good looking.
Yeah.
Its heart's in the right place.
Yeah.
It just wasn't doing it for me. It wasn't. Like, the one thing that would have made it worth it to me is if you go through all of this and the movie ends where it does, and then it turns out it's like all in his head as he's looking at his Twitter app. Like, this is the scenario.
Tinder?
Or
Yeah,
Tinder.
yeah,
What did
yeah.
I say?
Twitter.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
Tinder. So if he's looking at his Tinder app, and
swipe
yeah,
left.
like this is the scenario that's playing out in his head. If he swipes yes, like, yeah. I've seen a movie that kind of did that,
That would be amazing.
and it's this is a bad
That
movie.
would be amazing.
There was a movie in the 80s. There's a spoiler for this movie, whatever. It's over 30 years old. There was a movie from the 80s that was called Wisdom with Emilio Estevez and Demi Moore.
Okay.
And he also like wrote and directed the movie. And it was like a teenage Bonnie and Clyde movie. Like he and Demi Moore go around robbing banks and everything. The movie opens with him home and like in his suburban house with his family. He's like in the bathroom, like shaving, combing his hair, and he's got a towel around him. And then the movie plays out and everything. And then it ends in this giant like shoot off. And like both of them like go down in bullets at the end of it.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to him in the bathroom at the beginning, and this was all just something that was playing in his head. And he's just like, whoa, that was weird. He's like shaving and things like that. Like, what? What is that? What kind of ending is this?
That would have been great. Oh my god! Like now I kind of hope the filmmakers of Queen and Slim are watching, so you could like.
Oh, well,
pitch
they're
that ending.
gonna listen to me. Yeah, I am.
mean-
I am totally the target audience
I
for this film.
mean,
Look,
no, you're not. But
I know. I know that like there'll be plenty disagreeing with me on this movie. This isn't a bad movie. It's worth a rental. It totally is. It's not a bad movie.
I kind of want to see it just as like see.
It's something that could have been way better than what it was. Like it certainly reaches far beyond something like in terms of its ambition. It's way more ambitious and trying to be more thought-provoking than say like 21 Bridges.
Sure.
But with the themes that it's doing, I had a better time at Black and Blue that was released like a month or so ago. That other one that we went to go see.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, say what you will about that movie. I wouldn't go so far as to call it pretentious by any means. It wasn't like, it was, it's a cop thriller. This one, maybe it will be up for some awards. I don't know. It is a good looking movie. The acting's great. It just on a script level, it's heavy-handed as hell. And on the writing end of it, it's weird because like it's James Frey came up with the story or is like co-story credit on this. He wrote that Million Little Pieces bio. Snob fans might know him as the writer of the David Schwimmer rom-com Kissing a Fool from the 90s. He's attached to it. The other writer, I think, played Helen in Ready Player One. Like, so it's like there's like I wasn't expecting those two names to be together as on the writing end of this film. But you know what? I mean, if you go see this movie and it speaks to you and you really dig it and you're into these characters and they're monologuing and fortune cookie dialogue, like, hey, you know what? I mean, by all means, go for it. Like, no. I mean, I can see I can see why this movie has decent reviews, sure, but I don't know. Like, it's rent it. This this wasn't that great to me, honestly.
Okay. I mean, yeah, no, like I said, this review definitely makes me want to see it because I mean, do you think it's playing at adult theaters?
Like a porn theater?
Oh yeah.
Are there still porn theaters around?
With that sex scene, I mean, come on, sounds like that's where you want to go.
Right, yeah, like
There's one out by the airport.
Oh, is there really?
I'm not even kidding. Like I've driven past it.
Driven past it?
I'm an Uber driver, man.
Hey, everyone's wanting to be dropped off at that.
I mean, airport is a point of interest for Uber drivers. Yeah. I'm just saying.
You get the best tips dropping off at the porno theater. They're like, I'll tip him $5. He ain't telling nobody.
Here you are, Senator. You have a good day now.
He knows me. That driver's dead. All right, everyone. So, again, contribute over to our Patreon at patreon.com/thecinemasnob. And we'll be putting up our review for, I don't know which one of these I'm putting up first, but, we're shooting this at the same time we're shooting a review for Dark Water, so that should be up here soon, too.
Congrats, Shannon.
Oh, yes, congratulations.